Like the reason why I really like infrared sauna, because that is like a great way to detox, especially if you have fungal overgrowth in the gut, like, you know, we're dealing with small intestinal fungal overgrowth. So then you produce these mycotoxins. And not just the mycotoxins, we also sometimes deal with environmental toxins, pesticides, heavy metals, forever chemicals like Teflon, BPA, which is like a hormone disruptor. So all of these toxins can result in like systemic effects, right? Systemic symptoms like brain fog and fatigue and pain. So the infrared sauna, the way it works is it rapidly reduces chronic pain and inflammation because it detoxes the heavy metals, the micro plastics, and all these different chemicals. It also increases circulation and oxygenation in the body. So it improves the amount of oxygen that's going into your cells. It also is great to stimulate your parasympathetic nervous system. So parasympathetic nervous system is your vagus nerve, which is responsible for the brain-gut connection. And as you know, I love that topic. So the infrared sauna also helps to stimulate your parasympathetic nervous system. So it decreases your fight and flight response and kind of slows down your heart rate, your cortisol levels, and all that. So that's great. And then it also stimulates the mitochondria and helps creating nitric oxide. Nitric oxide helps to dilate your blood vessels. Okay, so more blood circulation to your brain, to your heart, to your cells, to all of that. And the reason why this is great, especially if you have gut issues, if you have gut dysbiosis, then you cannot use your gut for detox. There are different detox mechanisms that you can do to use, but when you have problems with the gut, like dysbiosis or inflammation, you know, then your gut is already like overworked. So we don't want to use the gut as a detox, but we can use other organs like your skin. So your skin is the largest organ in your body, right? So when you're sweating, you're actually removing the toxins. So you can utilize that. So it's like bypassing your gut and you're still able to remove the toxins. So this is a great way. And I feel it has a lot of benefit when, you know, you deal with like all these different pesticides and chemicals and mycotoxins, especially. It's really is helpful. And the way to do the sauna, as I said, is infrared. So there's like a steam sauna and infrared. So I'm very glad that you tried the infrared sauna. And the reason why I like the infrared sauna more is because it's able to penetrate your skin. So there are certain specifications which I'll tell you, which I feel is helpful. And I know that different saunas have like different specifications, but make sure, first of all, that it is infrared sauna, right? Like not steam sauna. In fact, some people do like red light therapy. It's not the same. So it has to be infrared. And then the penetration. So they set it to different penetration because remember that infrared is a light with a wavelength. So different lights have like different penetration into your skin. So the penetration should be 1.5 to 2 inches. That's the optimal to kind of go into your skin and kind of work. And then the wavelength needs to be like 7 to 14 microns. And let me actually show you this one. So the wavelength should be like, when you convert that microns, it should be like 7,000 to 14,000 nm infrared range. Okay, so I'm going to put your specifications in the chat box so that you can see that. And you talked about temperature. So that is important, like what temperature they are setting. So the power needs to be 1400 W, which is the wavelength, and the voltage is 120 V or 220 V. And that's an AC current. And I'm going to just like give you here so that you know what exactly I'm talking. And then duration, right? Like, so as I said before, do not start with a lot initially.
Yes.
Okay. So I would recommend starting with like 10 minutes first. But if you're able to do more, that's great. But if you're feeling nauseous or not, or that, then to stop. But if you're feeling fine, then ideally you should be doing 30 to 40 minutes, at least 3 to 4 times per week. It's a great idea to do it alternate days, not like every day, to kind of give yourself some break. That's ideal. And then on the days that you're doing the infrared sauna, drink extra water because it is very dehydrating. And have some kind of an electrolyte. You could do Pedialyte or, Gatorade even, or the electrolyte Forte that I recommend, and that's on full script. So drink that. If you're already doing it, drink extra that day, because when you're sweating, you're not just removing water, you're also removing minerals like potassium, magnesium, calcium even, right? So potassium and magnesium, if you deplete that, then that decreases motility of your gut. So then you're constipated. So it's kind of like one pathway is now blocked for detox, right? So we don't want that. That's why you want to have drink like excess of water, electrolytes. The other thing is, if you are somebody who works out on a regular basis, I would recommend not working out on the days that you do the sauna, because working out is, again, kind of dehydrating, right? So, and it's kind of make you more depleted in minerals and water. So that day you don't work out. The other thing is doing it consistently, because this detox path takes time. So if you feel like, okay, I'm just going to do it for 1 or 2 weeks and I'm now a detox, it doesn't work that way. I would recommend doing it consistently for at least 3 to 6 months to see the benefit. But to be quite honest with you, a lot of my patients, they just feel benefit immediately after the sauna. Like as soon as you come out of the sauna, because your body just like removed this bunch of toxins, right? So you will feel refreshed, you will feel less fatigued, the pain will be better. And over time, if you do it for 3 to 6 months, you will notice a huge difference in how you're feeling, because you're removing these toxins. And also for doing the total tox, if you have done the testing, the urine test to see how much of mycotoxins, heavy metals, pesticides, all that you have in your system, it is a great idea to do it before and after. So we have the before for you, like when we started the program, and then after 3 to 6 months, we will check again to see, what difference. And let me tell you the story. So I had this patient, and she had like really bad gut dysbiosis. So she had C4, which is small intestinal fungal overgrowth, and also SIBO, which is bacterial overgrowth, and had a lot of systemic symptoms, not just GI symptoms. She had like brain fog, fatigue, skin rash, was not able to like even work because of her fatigue and all that. And also she had tingling, like the mycotoxins can also cause neurological problems, by the way. So some people feel like their nerves are tingling, that they will have tingling in the legs or, in their hands, and they would go from doctor to doctor, neurologist to neurologist, and they would do all this test, and you can't find out like what's wrong with your nerves. Also, some patients have behavioral disorders. Like, people will say, okay, this person was a very outgoing, joyous person, and now there's a complete change in personality. That's sometimes could also be because of mycotoxins. So mycotoxins can affect the lining or covering of your nerves, which is called glial sheaths. There are certain toxins called gliotoxins that can damage those nerve endings, and you can have these neurological issues as well. So after the protocol that with me, she was able to get on the detox from the GI path, like the protocol that we use, the Z binder and stuff. But as you know, that if the gut is not ready, it can be sometimes too much, and those GI detox can also cause constipation, right? So she was not able to tolerate it, basically. So even like a small pill, like even half a pill, she could not tolerate it. So then we talked about infrared sauna, and she got like into the infrared sauna like religiously, like she did it for like 6 months, and she was doing it like 40 minutes, at least 3 to 4 times per week. And then after 6 months, I repeated her urine tox, the total tox, and everything came green. So everything, a lot, she had like almost 12, 15 different toxins, which were positive, which were red. And after 6 months, even without any GI detox, just using the infrared sauna, everything was green. And to be honest, I didn't believe it. When I saw that everything is green, I'm like, well, did you send your husband's urine, or like somebody, was it a mix up? Because this does not look like the same person, like 6 months. And I didn't know that she was doing this sauna. I told her about it, and I just know that she wasn't doing the GI detox. And then she was like, no, Dr. Sagar, this was because you told me about the infrared sauna, and I've been going like 40 minutes, at least 3 to 4 times per week, like for the last 6 months. The reason why she was doing it was because immediately after the sauna, she was feeling very good about it. the way she felt, she really liked it. So she continued to do it. But then the results were right there. And I was like, wow, that's amazing, And I would combine the sauna with the GI detox. But if you're very sensitive to GI detox, don't even think about it. I mean, it's a pill after all. Like just do the sauna. That's enough, And after her case, I'm like kind of reinforcing infrared sauna like more with my patients, because sometimes taking that pill could be a little too much. It can also cause, constipation. And if you're already dealing with dysbiosis, so we don't want your gut to work harder than it needs to, right? So we can use help from our other organs like skin. So I think this is a great way. I would continue to do this. And I would love to see your total talks, after like 6 months, to see where it has actually gone. The reason I try to explain all this different mechanism of how it works, why you have to do it, is because just telling you to do something, you're probably going to remember me for like 1 or 2 days and then forget all about it. But if I tell you like why it works, what's the mechanism, every time you're doing that, every time you're doing the sauna, you're probably thinking about it, right? Okay, this is how it's working, reducing inflammation and this and that. And then you're more prone to stay compliant to it, And I also believe in the fact that our thoughts, shapes our life, So whatever is happening in the physical plane, it first starts in your thoughts or your subconscious mind, right? So every time you're thinking about something like, oh, this is working, first you have to think about it, and then it's going to happen in the physical world. And I'm a strong believer of that. And that's why thinking these things will help you implement or manifest that in the physical life too. So another reason too why I kind of explain these things.